Hello everybody and welcome to Mile ADV, a beginner's guide to adventure motorcycling from a true beginner's perspective. In today's video we're going to talk about, after roughly 6 months and about 2,500 miles, do I still stand behind my decision of getting a 1300cc for my very first motorcycle, or do I wish I would have gotten something different? So stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome back. And so after 6 months and 2,500 miles, do I regret getting a 1300cc or a leader bike for my very first motorcycle? Short answer is, if you saw the intro, no. And if now you're wondering why the scenery has changed, because here in Colorado it was just about 55 degrees and sunny. The weather was great and I said, hey, why don't we go up to the local state park, film a video. It's already getting cold and it's snowing. And so as you can tell probably by this little sign here, we are hiding behind the bathroom at the local state park to get out of the wind in the snow. So we'll try to keep this quick. So do I regret getting a 1500cc bike? No. And actually what I have realized over the last 6 months and about 2,500 miles, what I really enjoy about riding a motorcycle most has also now made me want to get a Hayabusa. That's right, I want a Busa. The reason is I love the idea of better cornering and being able to cruise some highway, maybe especially getting out into the desert. There's so many highways out in Utah and the speed limit's like 80, and that thing is just so long and low and so much power that I think it would just be awesome for long rides out through the desert, and I think it'd be so much fun. Just a lot of opportunity there for bigger bikes on the highway, and that's what I like about my bike the most. I love the utility of it. I can take it anywhere. And once you do cross the border into Utah, as I talked about in my other video, the speed limit is 80 miles an hour. And with all of that wind, when you get behind a semi and you're getting tossed around, the big bike definitely helps. And as for somebody who's spending a majority of their time on the road, the bigger bike just adds so many comforts and so many benefits that no, I do not regret it. If I was going to, getting on the dirt roads that I've gone on and some of the fire roads that I go exploring on around here locally, because we have a lot of these like fire roads, I do realize that once there's all these little break off points. Yeah, the bike is just too big for me in some of these real technical sections. And there's actually, to the one guy who commented on the video about my very first group ADV ride experience, in that I mentioned I'm a beginner and I don't want to ride anything technical. We didn't ride anything technical. We rode 90% highway and like 5% dirt, and it was just a dirt road. But again, still trying to just ride within your limits, which I think is also an important caveat. If you are new to riding adventure bikes or any motorcycles in general like me, can you control the throttle? Can you keep that power under control? I think if you can be smart, if you can most importantly, ride within your limits, know where you're comfortable and how to be safe, and B, follow the laws of the road, I think you'll be just fine on a leader bike. But if you are going to ride like a jerk, I don't think it matters if you're on a 300cc KTM street bike or on this 1290 Adventure or a 1290 Super Duke R, which is another bike I'm really interested in. I don't think it really matters. If you're going to ride like a jerk, you're going to hurt yourself and somebody else regardless of how big the motorcycle is. I do also think that where I feel the weight the most is when the bike is not moving. When the bike is not moving, it is a lot of bike to move around, especially since I've added the skid plate and the crash bars and the panniers. That does add weight, and especially if I have my camera equipment or whatever, the bike does get heavy, and you notice it when you're just trying to push it around to move it, especially when I get on like some dirt roads and it's really tight or whatever, I'm trying to turn around. I think when I first started riding, I got my instruction from a former motorcycle cop, and one thing he talked about is all bikes weigh the same once you get them moving, right? In some regard, in that basically they're weightless once the bike is moving. So if you ever watched a cop rodeo, a police cop bike rodeo, they do some crazy maneuvers on these huge like 800-pound cruisers because again, the bike is moving. So do I regret it? And based on all the comments that I've seen, the most common thing is it's way too much bike, you should have started smaller, but no reasoning as to why. So nobody ever watches the video and says like, oh, well, I disagree with your point on you actually trying to ride within your limits and be safe, because even then it's still too much bike for reason B. So if you do disagree with me, please provide me some reason why you disagree with me. Not just some blanket statement that it's just too much bike and you shouldn't ride it, because that's always the same thing. So yeah, 6 months later and 2,500 miles, I don't regret it. I actually kind of want a bigger sports bike. like a 1290 Super Duke R. I think that would be so much fun to ride, but I'm really more leaning towards a Busa. When my friends had bikes and I had my learner's permit just outside of college, and all my friends had sports bikes and they let me borrow one and I'd go cruise around with them to learn. Yeah, I mean, they had, I think, 600 and 1000cc Hondas, but yeah, it was like the dream bike was always the Busa. And now that the Busa has become a bit of a like touring sport bike, oh man, I want to ride one. I don't know if I'll buy one, but I definitely want to ride one and maybe buy one. I don't know. So if you've made it this far, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. It just helps my channel. And until next time, stay safe out there.